So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us. I know that you are in different time zones, different continents, so it's always very great to have you and to, of course, listen to our colleagues from the Caribbean experiences in the field. Today, many of you are returnees to our many sessions, other people are new, but today is the 12th session that we organize with our colleagues IICA and ourselves, COLEAD, the series of the Caribbean Agrifood Business Series, really putting a focus on successful Caribbean enterprises, SMEs, cooperatives, etc., in different areas. Today is a very, very exciting, actually, topic on agroprocessing. So the business opportunities in the agroprocessing sector for Caribbean entrepreneurs. And we are very keen, I mean, Allister and myself, IICA and COLEAD, on really showing the added value, really how entrepreneurs, you know, can make not only more opportunities in terms of economic terms, but also on skills, on knowledge, on capturing new markets, by also adding value to the product. And all the innovations that we will see today and that we will discuss later on. So 2 words on my organization. I work for COLEAD. It's a non-for-profit association of private sector operators in all continents. And we provide, in addition to being an association with what it implies, the services it implies, we also implement programs from different donors, from different lines. These series are financed by the EU, European Union, and the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States, but we have other programs as well. And our core part is really technical assistance, is trainings, capacity development, business insights, so really accessing business opportunities and information on markets, and of course all the part related to networks and business to business, agribusiness fairs, etc. And we are very complementary, of course, to IICA. I'm giving just quickly the floor to Allister. You will find him again as a moderator of the second part, but he could tell you 1 word about IICA. Allister? If not, he will tell you yes.
Hi, thank you very much, Isolina, and good morning, colleagues from across the Caribbean and our colleagues as well from Africa, the Pacific, and the EU. Allister GLEAN, representative in Barbados for the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture. A quick word, as I said, we are happy to partner with COLEAD on this particular intervention, this business series, and we have a relationship where we hope to do even greater things for agri-entrepreneurs across the hemisphere. And of course, as we said, the Pacific and Africa. IICA, we say we are the specialized agency for agriculture in the Americas, and we focus on agricultural development. For us, in a nutshell, I want to say we are committed to supporting food security, not just in the Caribbean, but as I said, the overall hemisphere. And we focus a lot on issues related to climate resilience, the agricultural and food safety, the bioeconomy and innovation. We also do a lot of work in international trade and regional integration. We focus on territorial development and family farming, and there's a continued focus on digitalization of agriculture. In everything we do as well, we try to focus on women and youth and generally the marginalized communities. IICA is committed to supporting agri-entrepreneurs and, of course, to its partners such as COLEAD, and overall, we are a technical cooperation agency. So I think that covers me in terms of discussing IICA, and we want to get the show on the road to hear from you, the agri-entrepreneurs, and to understand the support that's available to you. Thank you, Isolina.
Thank you very much, Allister. So indeed, follow the coming sessions as well, because it's all these topics that Allister has mentioned, where, of course, COLEAD participates and works as well, and they are all important for the entrepreneurs. And you have to keep always abreast of what is going on and, you know, knowing the different services. My colleagues will also post in the chat the different resources you can access from both organizations. So without a major delay, what we wanted to discuss a bit today is some successes from entrepreneurs in the agroprocessing sector. What can we learn from their best practices in terms of innovations, technologies, knowledge needed, but also links with research. We will have many of our researcher colleagues in the second panel, and also what kind of incentives or experiences support we can provide as well, that, you know, they do better. They also kind of upscale their products, their markets, their innovations, and so on. So without major delay, I'm very pleased to, in this first part, we will have speakers on the entrepreneurship side. And as usual, in the second part, we will have more the organizations bringing support, like IICA and COLEAD, but of course we feature partners bringing support to the entrepreneurs, so really the ecosystem. And today we have a lot of from research, marketing, and this part. So our first entrepreneur is Tricia. So Tricia Webbe is the co-founder and managing director of BWC Enterprise in Antigua and Barbuda. BWC, she will tell us more, but is really focusing on coconut products. Tricia is very, very passionate actually about the coconut industry, also believing in zero waste, so making byproducts and, you know, maximizing, let's say, the coconut plants and the coconut products. She has really, she's very known in the Caribbean, has received many prizes as well for using new innovations such as tissue culture of the coconut palm. She really believes that the Caribbean can upscale and revive the coconut industry in a more, let's say, innovative way. So please, Tricia, tell us a bit more about your business. And thank you very much for joining us from Antigua and Barbuda.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for having me here. I am just pulling up my screen to share.
If you need help, yes, this is fine. And in the meantime, I encourage as well the participants, you know, while the presentations go on, to just put your comments, insights, questions in the chat. Thank you very much. Please, Tricia.
So hi, once again, my name is Tricia Webbe. I am Managing Director and CEO of BWC Enterprises, Inc. We are a coconut-based company, and we have been around since 2016. The company came about from an ailment with one of my partners, and we started researching into coconut and what we can put with coconut, natural ingredients overall. And we realized that coconut oil has a very good benefit in fighting bacteria in the body, etc. And upon using the products, we realized that this is an added value that we can bring to the public. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. So this is our team that we started with, and we manufacture pure and infused coconut oils. Like was mentioned earlier, we believe in zero waste. So not only do we do the coconut oil, we also use the copra from the coconut to turn into an additional product that can benefit people around the world as well. This is just a short video into our procedure. And I was so excited when I was approached to be a part of this panel, because this video was done when we just started out. And good manufacturing practices, you know, in the Caribbean, we just, you know, But as we grew and we learned that, okay, we have to put some SOPs in place, some good manufacturing practices, etc. And along with IICA, we have worked with IICA before to help us on an agro-processing journey. The machine that you're looking at here is one that we invested in to make our process more efficient. It's a coconut grinding machine that grinds a ton per hour. And it had helped us tremendously because the amount of coconut that we have to be producing, this is very necessary. The demand for coconuts and coconut oil and our products on a whole has caused us to dive into more research on different machinery to make our process more easier. i.e., this is our coconut grinding machine. We're looking into the coconut milk machine, where that squeezes the coconut milk that we use to turn into the oil, and the desheller to take the shell off of the coconut. So that would make our workload minimize drastically, which would be awesome. This is a photo of the 3 process. Our coconut oil is 100% cold pressed, no heat applied. So we do the fermentation process, which we use the sun to extract the oil from the coconut milk. This is the coconut milk after we have squeezed it, of which we're doing manually at the moment. This is the fermentation after it has been put into drums, etc. And this is the oil after we have skimmed off the fermentation and get the oil from it. Our products are, we infuse turmeric. We have the turmeric coconut oil as one of our products. We also do the fruit flavors, pineapple, mango, even guava. If you're from the Caribbean, you would know these fruits. The nutmeg infused has been a great addition to our line, as it has been helping people with pains, to calm you. We also do the CBD infused coconut oil. Talking about no wastage, we have this product called the coconut crumbs, which, like I said, it's the copra. After we've squeezed the milk from the coconut, we're left back with the fiber, of which is baked and turned into a product we call coconut crumbs. Now, coconut crumbs, you've heard of breadcrumbs before. If you're a gluten-free person, you can use the coconut crumbs just as you would use the breadcrumbs to coat your foods, your baking dishes, etc. And this has been doing awesome in the supermarket as well. Our best sellers here are the nutmeg infused, the coconut infused, and the plain coconut and the turmeric infused. At the moment, we supply only the local market because we have been facing some challenges of upscaling, and we have realized that it is very necessary for us at the moment because we have clients on the global market that has been requesting to do business with us, but because we cannot supply the capacity at the moment, it has been on hold. Also, we are looking into being certified, HACCP certified. So facility is what we're working on at the moment, so that we can have all these certifications in place so that exporting to the European market will be much, much easier. Local market is what we supply. Our coconuts, sadly, we don't have any coconuts in Antigua at all whatsoever. So we have been sourcing our coconuts from Guyana. Working along with IICA and ITC has opened up a door for us to work directly with coconut farmers in Guyana, that we can get our costs down as well as our packaging. We've been looking into companies in China to get our packaging at a lower cost so that our products will be cost effective enough to have a good footing on the wholesale market globally. Also, we have been looking into how we can upscale ourselves, putting the factory in place, getting these machinery in place so that we can be able to provide more jobs for people, women and families in Antigua and Barbuda, and also be an asset to families around the island. Again, this is my contact card. If you have any questions, any input, you can just let us know. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Tricia. You saved 1 minute. So in 1 minute, can you just tell me about which is a key part, of course, about the processing as well. Packaging, and labeling, is it sourced locally? You do that locally or you do import? Because it's always
at the moment we're doing everything locally.
Great.
It's very challenging because locally everything is so costly. So we have been looking to source outward to be more cost effective.
Thank you very much. It's a nice, actually, very nice presentation, very nice products as well. Thank you for sharing, yes, really your journey, because it is a journey. And even when it's successful, you see how much work it's done, but incredible that you can still source everything locally, and also some regional market there, thanks to IICA as well, in connecting you with Guyana, sourcing in the farmers in Guyana.
Yes.
Excellent. Yes. So I'm sure that you will have plenty of questions, and we come back to you a bit later. We give now the floor to, thank you, Tricia, to Nadine, Nadine Benn-Greaves. She's the founder of Vedge Food Products, and she's trading as Ligon gluten-free mixes in Barbados. She has a background of scientist, actually. She's an internationally certified food scientist. She's also a trainer on food technology and engineer, but for the context of today, she will share her journey as a business, as an entrepreneur, and on the really gluten-free, which is obviously a niche, more than a niche now, but it started really as a niche market. And you will share that experience in the Caribbean. Thank you very much. Also, many awards you received for that work. Please, Nadine, the floor is yours. You are muted. You are muted, perhaps. Yes, exactly.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much. And it's a pleasure to be here.
You do share your PowerPoint yourself?
Yes, please.
Yes, perfect.
Thank you. Okay, so I am Nadine Benn-Greaves. I'm actually the owner of Vedge Food Products. And the product line that we currently have is under gluten-free mixes with the brand name Ligon. So as mentioned, I'm a certified food scientist. I have experience in food production, but also in food safety and food quality assurance. And for our company, we started out just before COVID, and the main aim for the product was to find an alternative use for cassava flour, because based on the current research that we did, a lot of young persons don't want cassava the way how we traditionally had it as children, where you just boil it and eat it. So the aim was to look for an alternative way and an exciting way to get the young people to actually use cassava flour, love cassava flour, and still like the products that they traditionally eat on a daily basis. So we came up with two main products, which was the cookie mix and the muffin mix. And the aim was to not have to use preservatives. So we don't use preservatives, we preserve via temperature, which holds the product for about a 1 year shelf life once you're chill. But then we wanted it convenient and easy to make because a lot of persons, again, don't have the time to actually prepare the product. So therefore, we wanted it to taste good, but make it convenient for them. So that's how we came up with our line of gluten-free baking mixes. And our slogan is for the actual product line is to eat better, to live longer. Because from research, we also found out that the older generation, they used to thrive on a lot of produce like cassava, pumpkin, breadfruit, yam, and therefore we think that by eating better, then we can get younger persons to live much longer. So in addition to that, for the company, what we focus on is using as many local products as possible. And for the cassava flour, we source it from local. Because we cater mainly to the market of Barbados, we haven't had any challenges in terms of supply and demand, so which is good. And also it helps for the continuous production of the traditional produce, helping the local farmers have an avenue where they can actually sell their product. In terms of the needs, besides the gluten-free, we also targeted persons who are in the health sector and looking to maintain a healthy balance in terms of their diet. And of course, we sell via supermarkets, restaurants, but mainly right now we're selling direct to customers. And we found it easier given that the costs of production has increased, but we wanted to also help keep the cost down to customers. So customers find it easier to just come directly to us and actually purchase the products, some things in bulk. However, we're still using the traditional methods like promotions, trade shows, Facebook, and word of mouth to get the product out there. And it has been doing very well so far. For Barbados, the market size is not that large. We haven't been looking to export just as yet. We would like to build a repertoire in Barbados first before we actually look to export. But as we channel through the market in Barbados, we realize that most of the persons who purchase from us are mainly women, and of course, if there's for their family, but older persons, obviously, who definitely want to take the hassle out of preparing these things, but still enjoy the convenience of having a muffin or a cookie, you know, when they're ready. We also look at the health factor. So there's not a lot of sugar in the product as well too, because we also take into consideration NCDs. So that is a major thing for us. And therefore we try to make sure that all the ingredients that we use, there's no wheat flour, there's nothing associated with wheat or oats. So we have done the gluten-free test to make sure that the product is free of gluten, and of course, making sure that it tastes good, but without the use of excessive amounts of salt or sugar. So existing in the market, there are gluten-free products out there, mainly, as you know, Betty Crocker and stuff. We do have some small persons as well too, but the big players would be Bob Mills and of course Betty Crocker, but they carry the traditional, again, they carry muffin mixes and biscuits as well. So our aim was to try to do something different. So outside of the traditional, we actually came up with cassava pone, which is like a Caribbean food. And we have that in the dry mix as well. And even the purpose of the dry mix too is for persons who travel and tourists who come to Barbados, they can actually taste the Barbadian products and take it back with them. Without having to have the weight of that water and the liquid where they travel with it. So it's very convenient. So we have had a lot of persons who visit Barbados actually take back the product with them and they like it. So that was good for us. And we actually are looking in terms of innovation to expand in terms of products that have the Caribbean flavor and taste to it. So not only like the pone, but things that are traditional to Jamaica or Trinidad, and even again to Barbados as well, so that they can be able to travel with the product and still have a healthier version of that product without using white or wheat flour. So this is what the packaging looks like in terms of the actual mixes. So we use the front panel to advertise as much as possible about the product. And in the back panel, obviously we use that to tell the persons about the nutrition, the ingredients, and the content, and how to prepare the products. The good thing about this is that this is kind of a base as well too. So we encourage persons to add like their own spin to it. So like, for instance, persons who don't use egg, we actually encourage them to use egg replacer. So we cater for different diets. Persons that don't use milk, in terms of cow's milk, we tell them that the product can actually be used with soy milk, cashew milk, almond milk, and that's the convenience of the product as well. And then so we are catering to those different types of dietary needs. And then of course, you can add raisins, you can add your nuts, you can add in your blueberries. So you can use it as a base and add what you want to it. And it's very, very, very tasty. Right, and this is how it is actually packaged. And this is what the back looks like, where it actually gives you the recipe in terms of how to prepare it. For the muffin, we innovated because initially when we started, as you can see here, we only had it as muffin mix, but then we actually realized that the same mix can be used for pancakes. So we had more than one use, so it has a dual use. And then for the cassava spoon, you can also use it for the old-time cassava bread, or what you call the flatbread in St. Lucia, to make that as well too. So the back panel carries the recipes for both products, and of course the nutritional fats and the ingredients. And pretty much that's it for us. As I said, we are looking to capture more of the local market here in Barbados as we progress. And of course, as time goes by, we will see if there's a need for us to export our products to other persons in the region or even to the US if that demand does happen. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nadine. Very interesting as well on a product that, is more innovative. I also like the fact that you want to promote not only, of course, the product itself, but the idea that people can get something also unique from Barbados in this particular case is a feature that we have a lot from the entrepreneurs in the region that we feature. It's not only entrepreneurs that legitimately want to have more business, to expand markets or product line or innovations, etc. But there is also a direct contribution not only to the food security and food safety Allister was referring to at the beginning of the session, but also to the products that are locally made, that have an identity and can be associated with the country, the cuisine of the country, and all that culinary part. So it's a very, very interesting. We will get back to you as well. Unless Axel tells me otherwise, I think that John hasn't joined for now. I know that he had some issues. So if it's not the case, we will go to and continue to pose you questions and comments, etc. We will get back to you. And when there is need for translation, my colleagues will help as well, because you would have seen that we have a very international participation, actually very south-south, Africa and Caribbean, South America, Asia, Europe, and so on. So without major delay then, Negus, thank you very much for joining us. We remain in Barbados. You are the brand manager for the International Food Science Center. You work also, of course, very closely with my colleagues from IICA. So the International Food Science Center, you will tell us more, but it's an initiative of Export Barbados that aims to provide a quality food processing facility for microprocessors. You have an expertise yourself, which is very, very useful to us, not only on the production and agriculture and food safety, but also tourism, for example. So really areas very much linked to the agriculture sector. And obviously, because of your job and your background, you have expertise in sales, product analysis, development, and so on. And what is interesting and interests us very much on the International Food Science Center of Barbados is that you have kind of two components which are very important today. One is that you do processing yourselves, and the other one is that you support the entrepreneurs in doing that or in improving their processing work. So if you could tell us of both parts, and that will link very well to our second panel, where it is more about the support organizations. I mean, the organizations that are in the ecosystem that supports entrepreneurs, in particular research. Thank you very much for joining us. Please go ahead.
Thanks for having me today. It's always a pleasure to promote the International Food Science Center at any chance I get. We really are proud and passionate about what we have here. It's a facility that we can, we just share the screen.
While you do that, I see that nobody today...
Are you seeing the display as we speak?
No, not yet. Not yet. If not, Axel can help from our side. We also have a copy. Do another try. If not, you, Axel can do that for you, and you just tell us next slide. And while you do that...
To alleviate the... Let me see.
Yes, it's coming. Now it's perfect. Yes, if you put it in full screen, if not, we can still see it. Yeah.
Sure. Is that fine?
Yes, fine. Thank you very much.
Awesome. All right. So the International Food Science Center is an initiative of Export Barbados, and it really was created under the premise that it would appease the small producers and microprocessors, those that have small to medium size production, to have a facility by which they can streamline their production, and really have standardized products being created with all of the necessary certifications and what's not that they would need in order to break through onto varying markets across the globe. So we're really giving the small producer a framework by which they can have their product eventually get to a stage where it can be exported and it can be sent to various parts of the globe without restriction, more or less. So we really embolden people to be creative, to have, creative products that they can really scale up and produce at mass and really carry their small production from strength to strength and ultimately thrive with regards to trade or distribution, on varying markets, both established markets and new emerging markets. So the Food Science Center, it was opened just a short while ago, not too long, in 2022, by the Prime Minister of Barbados, the Honorable, Amor Motley herself. And it was launched in the manufacturing and laboratory-based facility. It's located in Newton Industrial Estate in Christchurch. It's kind of a hidden gem in Barbados because we realize we have to do more to let people know about it. We try to get our profile out there that the average Barbadian can have access to us and come through and have a tour of the facility, see all the parts of the process that we implement to help to streamline their products. So all in all, it was a $12 million investment. So there's 6 million total investment, 2 in equipment and 4 in capital work renovation. So it's not a huge investment, but we hope that in the coming months that we can really see the strides we've made. We're doing well. We have launched a number of local entrepreneurs and have helped them to attain export status of their products. So our scope, we really look to have a cost-effective production. We enhance the product because there's less downtime, there's less bottlenecks to production. We have a facility that has capabilities that can actually finalize 35 finished products per minute. And that's everything from raw materials prep to actual creation of the product to bottling, labeling, vacuum sealing of product. Everything can be done in one place. We actually we offer a range of services. We have a small batch kitchen that we offer to entrepreneurs, like small producers that don't have the facility at home or would have been producing product from their own home kitchen. They can now come and rent the facilities. They can have we have skilled and technical staff that were before in culinary fields, ex-chefs, food scientists, food chemists on board as well. We have a host of services: bottle washing, bottling and labeling, blending, puree of raw materials, supply of onion puree, garlic. We have dehydrators, we have robo-coop machinery that would grind down product into powder form, or for instance, the folks before that came and spoke about the organic flours. We have machines that can do that. You can grind it down to any consistency you want. So you can have powderized, same cassava, breadfruit, whatever fruit products you want to bring down into different consistencies, we can do that. So we really do have a range of processes. We also pride ourselves highly on the standards, standardizing our process. So we working on our hazard analysis and critical control point certifications. We're about to finalize that. So, you know, when producers come to our facility, they can have the comfort in knowing that once their product is finalized through the manufacturing process, that it would be accepted more or less worldwide. Wholesalers and distributors wouldn't have a problem purchasing it because they will know that, you know, it is pretty much shelf ready and saleable and market ready. We're also doing the ISO certifications for safety management systems, and these are all in an attempt to, you know, make people feel at ease, let people know that when they come to the facility, they don't have much to worry about. They just have to bring their creative genius, and they can leave with a product that is, you know, market ready and saleable. So some of the benefits, you know, we obviously reduce production time and make sure we have the capacity to finalize 35 finished products within a minute. That's the speed of the production line. So it really cuts down on downtime, and it really speeds up, you know, essentially the entire process. So you can have increased production, you can scale up, you could do larger quantities. So yes, we assist with the meeting requirements of regulations overseas, foreign markets. Also with our certifications that we have here. We also have a lot of facilities that we do quality assurance testing. We do pH testing, viscosity tests with flow of certain product. We do salt analysis tests where we test for the anions and cations in product. We have a range of different testing, scientific stuff here we can do as well. We have, as I said, food chemists and food scientists on board that aid in product tweaking. If you need to increase quantities, they can, you know, help in that regard. We have, as I mentioned earlier, we had a small batch kitchen. So that is really to appease those that have one-off events. You know, someone might not have a consistent production, but it might be a caterer or someone that just wants a rent facility to do their production for a specific event. That is possible. So, you know, all in all, we kind of reduce production time, we increase production. We assist with, you know, meeting what is expected by the regulatory and administrative boards globally with our HACCP and ISO certifications. We also ensure that you have quality food safety or food quality practices are premier. We do all the testing that is required, pH testing, soil analysis, etc. And all in all, we offer a range of services, products. We have a lot of locally created products through and through, from the design to the actual product to the design and the labeling to the artwork. Everything is done locally. So we really would like to, urge people to come down to the Food Science Center in Newton, have a look at what we can do, and really, take on board the fact that we are now, have this facility here. And it's possible to, to bring your production from your kitchen, from your home kitchen, and make it grandeur. A lot of people may have some fantastic products, but only the people in their specific community might know of it. Or they may have an excellent jam or jelly or puree or sauce or something. Only the people in their immediate community or neighborhood knows of it. They can now have that scope, they have that facility that they can maximize, create a mass, and expand their production and export if need be. So I'm glad that I could share this information with everyone. You can be contacted also via phone at 1-246-536-0950, or you can check us out on our website, which is currently being updated as well. A lot of things are happening at the same time, so we're updating the website as well, but it's the internationalfoodsciencecenter.com. You can check us out there. You can also email me directly at negus.j.seeley@gmail.com if you have to set up any appointments, if you want to set up a tour or anything like that. I request that in those particular forums. So I'm here. If anyone has any further questions, I'll obviously be willing to appease them with an answer. Hopefully we can, go from strength to strength and ultimately change the outlook of, producing from these small island developing states. We so often the narrative is set that is we're just consumers. Nothing really comes from the Caribbean in terms of production. Actually, some of the smaller islands, but we now have this framework here that we can actually facilitate such. We can have products that are through and through Barbadian or the greater diaspora. Any of our Caribbean neighbors can also come and utilize the facility if need be. We can launch products from the region and really feel proud about how the production sector is thriving. So I'll be willing to answer any questions when they need be.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the very interesting presentation. Actually, there is one clarification in the Q&A. I just translate because it is in French. It's from a participant from Africa. And he says, if I have understood correctly, what the producers, in this case from the Caribbean, can subcontract some of you people and can use facilities for the transformation, for the processing? Is a clarification he's asking?
Yes, definitely. You can subcontract the services of the facility. Also, we have a full staff here on board that would help you with your production. You may not have you may have a good product, but you may have a small team. We have a team here that you could utilize their skills and their skill set to help to streamline the product as well. They all have culinary backgrounds and food safety backgrounds and whatnot, so you know that you have a quality product produced at the end of the day. So it's more or less ensuring that all components of the supply chain operate effectively. Both the planning, from the planning to the sourcing, production, distribution, and returns are all precise and function and operate in tandem. So we want to connect people with the facility, and we want to connect products with the markets. It all ties into Industry 4.0 and the fact that it's synonymous with the smart manufacturing processes. We have machines that link to each other and communicate with each other and then communicate back to us. So rather than having a breakdown, we would know when something needs to be done to a particular machine or part of the production process. So we're always on the ball. And we're really proud of the facility. Yes, it can be you can subcontract services here. You can rent certain parts of the facility, certain whatever equipment you need, per se, the dehydrators, the robo coops, the commercial chiller. We have all that capability here.
Thank you very much. So before going to the next panel and Allister, there are a few questions in French from our French-speaking colleagues in Africa and elsewhere in Europe, and they are around. So you can get that, Allister, in the second part, but at least that our speakers start thinking about. There are questions about how difficult it is for you to feature the nutritional facts, the nutritional information of your products. And the same way, how difficult and about the parameters to use for the products to stay longer in the shelf, I mean, to keep it longer. On the case of cassava flour, there is a question also on the percentage of cassava flour when you mix in the bread. Is it all cassava flour, or in some cases, do you have a mix? And for also kind of a cross-cutting question is always also the management of the waste in the business. How much efforts are done there, how difficult it is to do that. Not only the part, as we saw in coconut and so on, of developing byproducts instead of wasting them, but there is the other part as well, is the waste itself. How do you manage that part? And that links also, of course, with the green growth and circular economy and that. So the Q&A is at the end, as you know, because we bring all the questions and comments. And thank you very much for being very active. In addition, as always, to do businesses in the chat, as I can see, and South-South businesses, I mean, between Africa, Caribbean, and others. So I thank you very much. We continue the discussion now with Allister moderating that. He was already introduced at the beginning, but he's my interlocutor for IICA in Barbados. He's the representative of the organization in Barbados. And more importantly, of course, he's also a specialist in agribusiness and value chain in the Caribbean. So he was posted in different countries, long experience as well in research and development, agribusiness development and financing as well. So I think it's getting very, very interesting. So Allister, if you want to take over, and I will just ask if you can stop the PowerPoint, Mr. Sile, because then we can, yes, not a problem at all. So Allister, please, and we come back a bit later in the Q&A.
Thank you very much, Isolina. This has been really exciting so far. I want to thank you for the introduction you provided. That was really awesome. I think this topic is one that is going to generate a lot of interest among the listeners and participants here today, as well as those who would access the recording. Because for us in the region, I want to start off with what Negus would have shared lastly, in terms of we're often seen as producing primary products, and we know that in the region, we do a lot of exotic and wonderful products. A lot of innovation. Caribbean people are known for our ability to be innovative. And we need to really have more products out there. Value addition is critical for our overall food security. While we produce a lot of primary products and we export those, we need to do more agro-processing and more value addition. If it is that we are supposed to achieve greater food security, that's the direction we need to go. And interestingly enough, consumers, whether within the region or overseas, they want more convenience, they want more exotic items, innovative products, etc. And this is the way that we will achieve those targets if we go the line or the route of value addition and agro-processing. And interestingly enough, in the region, we do a lot of sauces, jams, beverages, snacks, spices, and other items. And we would have heard those from the presenters in the first session. This second segment is equally critical for our consumption, for our dialogue. We need to understand the issue of what support is available to agri-entrepreneurs, to persons who are interested in getting into the industry. Even yesterday, someone contacted me and said they have an interest. And I said, this is the session for you because you can understand what support can be provided to you to actually get into agro-processing. And I think it was Tricia who started off by talking about the need to upscale. And we can only upscale and go to the next level if we have adequate support from the various agencies. And I think Negus and the International Food Science Center gave us a wonderful introduction to this segment, and we want to continue at this point. So please allow me to introduce the next speaker. The next speaker is coming from the University of the West Indies, and I would like to introduce Professor Rohanie Maharaj. I have never met her in person, but I've heard so much about her, so it's really a pleasure to do this introduction. And Professor Maharaj is currently the program coordinator of the postgraduate program in food science and technology at the Chemical Engineering Department of the University of West Indies. I can tell you a lot of my colleagues have passed through that program, and they are now all over the region supporting agro-processing and overall food security development in the region. Professor Maharaj is actively involved in teaching, research, outreach, and administration in the Food Science and Technology Unit at the University of the West Indies. Particularly, we're talking about the St. Augustine campus in Trinidad and Tobago. And Professor Maharaj was awarded a grant by FAO to conduct a series of capacity-building webinars and discussion workshops on food packaging practices in the CARICOM region in December 2020. And prior to that, she was involved in other FAO projects related to agro-processing for small entrepreneurs in Belize and other countries. She has also coordinated various short courses and workshops on fermented beverages, food microbiology, sensory evaluation, and food packaging for industry and public audiences. And she also received a grant from the Campus Research and Publication Fund Committee in 2022 to do work on rapid testing of contaminants. Now, apart from many years, over 27 years of working in academia, Professor Maharaj has also worked for over 14 years in the overall industry. She worked at Johnson & Johnson, the manufacturing and marketing sectors, leading quality and reliability at a senior level, and she's well trained in building quality at the international level. And I should say she has also served in the capacities of team chair and evaluator for external accreditations on behalf of the Accreditation Council of Trinidad and Tobago. With that said, let me invite Professor Maharaj to share her presentation. Professor Maharaj, I believe you have 10 minutes. Welcome, and it's a pleasure to have you on this morning.
Thank you so much, Chair. Good morning. Bonjour, bonsoir, buenos dias, buenas noches. Let me first thank the organizers for inviting me today to this excellent session on business opportunities in agro-processing for Caribbean entrepreneurs. And I'm a Caribbean person. I love to interface with my Caribbean people. So as you heard, I'm Professor Maharaj Rohanie, first name, and I'm the program coordinator for food science and technology at the University of the West Indies, situated at the St. Augustine campus in Trinidad and Tobago. So let me see if I can move my slide here. 1 second, it's taking a little long. Right. So, my task today is relatively an easy one, in that I will bring some insights from our support programs. So, for example, from the Food Science and Technology program at the UWI and the Department of Chemical Engineering. So we offer programs at the graduate level, at master's and PhD levels, and our programs have been around for over 50 years. Most of the key players in the food and beverage industry in the region have come out of the UWI system. Our programs are accredited by the UK Institute of Food Science and Technology. So that was a really proud moment for me to accredit our programs. So let me move again. And you can feel free to stop me if you can't see or you have any issues with the visibility of the presentation. Let me just hide this. Sorry. Hide. Right. Can you all see?
Very well.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Yes, indeed.
So, all right, great. So in terms of, our aims and objective, the program aims to provide for local, regional, and even international students who want to have high quality and professional education at the graduate level through our teaching, research, and engagement with civil society. And we want to produce competent, highly motivated, civic-minded entrepreneurial graduates, and to conduct our relevant research, innovative research and development for the advancement of the Caribbean region and as well the wider world. So our program in food science and technology we have highly qualified staff, we have great equipment, we have laboratory facilities to give our students that, head start and to move into entrepreneurial activity. we not only provide that theoretical knowledge, but a lot of it is practical training in things like food processing and food analysis. So in terms of our curriculum, we cover really the entire food value chain. And you can see from components, we include components from primary processing and post-harvest technology to food preservation, packaging, sensory evaluation studies. So we want our students to really gain an in-depth knowledge in core competency areas so that they can make a valuable contribution to the food and beverage industry. And our curriculum, as I indicated before, it's based on international best practice. And that's why we have accredited our program to international standards. So in terms of, our students, our most important stakeholders, we have part-time and full-time students who come from not only Trinidad and Tobago, but we have students coming from the region, including from Barbados, from Belize, from Guyana, St. Lucia, Suriname. And many of our students are working in the food and beverage industry. They are captains of the industry. And every so often, we want to get feedback from them in terms of what they have to say about the program. So this is some of the feedback that, who are able to see it in English can hear a little bit or see a little bit about some of the feedback that we get from our students. Now, in terms of how we disseminate our knowledge, so we run several short courses. We offer webinars to the public, to targeted companies, and we have conducted several short courses and webinars over the last 4 years, targeted primarily to MSMEs. And you can see that, we've done sensory evaluation, we've looked at food packaging, good manufacturing practice, basic principles of food packaging, food security. We even did food processing, things like beverages, how to brew kombucha, looking at how to make fermented beverages, as well as we have done targeted training in food microbiology for audiences in the industry in Guyana. Now, I will move again. These are some of the short courses that we have advertised to audiences, and we include public and we target really MSMEs. These are examples of what we had to offer, the public at large in terms of our webinar series. And I have a lot of my IICA friends who did a lot of support and were facilitators at these webinars. In terms of looking at international mobility and internships, we signed an MOU sometime in 2022 with French Agricultural Institute, l'Institut Agricoole in Dijon. And by doing that, we were able to have a student come from that institution to come down to Trinidad and work with us. And here you can see him. He is the tallest guy on the block. That's his Alain. And he came and he worked with us on minimally processed pineapples, and he conducted experiments on pineapple fruits treated with different natural preservative systems. And he looked at the physiochemical, sensory, and microbiological parameters of these fruits under these different preservative systems. So in terms of the labs now, so we provide, analytical and practical skills to our students, and that is through the lab sessions that are facilitated by our well-trained staff. And we have several labs where we conduct a variety of research activities, and our master's and PhD students, they are involved in these research activities. And we have laboratories for developing new products, for designing new processing and packaging technologies, for improving food quality and nutritional value, enhancing food safety. We do a lot of microbiology labs, including food preference. We have a sensory evaluation lab as well. And you can read all about our labs at this link here that I have attached at our website. Now, let me talk a little bit very briefly about our research. So our research projects are very exciting. It's wide-ranging, and we really like to collaborate with industry because many of our students come from industry. So our research projects cover, the food value chain, and a lot of the projects are spearheaded by our postgraduate students. So you can see we have worked in all of these areas. And, you know, a lot of the times, you know, the students come up with their own innovative projects. And this is like some of the products that come out of the lab. For example, this is like scorpion pepper sauce. And you know, in Trinidad, we like it hot and stinging. So if you have never had scorpion pepper sauce, I would advise you to try some of this scorpion pepper sauce. It's really hot and spicy. So let's move here. Now, we also have a responsibility to do the research, but we also have to disseminate the research to the wider public. So one mode of disseminating our research is to make it available to local, regional, and international audiences through our publications. So here you can see us working on, you know, local materials, for example, bay leaf and turmeric, in terms of the essential oils from them, in terms of the preservation of raw meats. We looked at pesticides, trace metals, and microbiological analysis of you know, greenhouse and open field harvested crops before and after processing. We do research on, you know, hygienic practices of our SMEs, MSMEs, and how the public and the consumers perceive them. We looked at and published work on fermented beverage. For example, we use dasheen wine. So we made wine from dasheen. We have interfaced a lot with our MSMEs, and we have written about strategies for the development of the agro-processing industry in the Caribbean. And we have partnered and worked with Belize, and we have done some work in Trinidad as well with our MSMEs. Again, we do fermented beverage with a wide variety of crops. For example, here we have the jamun fruit. And then we have talked a lot about food security in the region, because as you will be aware, we are one of the most food insecure regions in the Caribbean, in the Western Hemisphere. We import a lot of our food. It takes a lot of foreign exchange and resources, and we need to start to look at how do we buy local, how do we consume local, and change that paradigm. So this is just a little snippet of the research projects which I think are applicable to our MSMEs. And here you see we have looked at making yogurt. We are making edible films and coating from things like plantain starch to improve the post-harvest storage life of our tropical crops. One of the crops that we have researched is like the West Indian cherries. We are looking at, you know, hygienic practices of our vendors and evaluating, you know, contamination levels. Here you see we have made wine, or what we term fermented beverage, from sugar apple. And this is a lovely, refreshing snow cone. If you are not familiar with snow cone, we in the Caribbean love our snow cone. And some of the other research coming out is that we have made chocolates, dark chocolates, but because we understand the role of sugars and the role that they play in obesity, and so we have used now a natural sweetener, which is jaggery, and we have incorporated jaggery into our dark chocolates and made chocolates and done the evaluation of these kinds of chocolates. In terms of the research coming out from our PhD students, you know, over the last years, we have seen a growing trend or a growing transition from synthetic plastics to more biodegradable packaging materials, such as biopolymers, which are, we know, a renewable source, and they are abundant in nature and can be used to create these edible films and coatings. So we recognize that a sustainable method of extending the shelf life of our underutilized tropical crops is to use these biopolymer edible coatings as opposed to plastic packaging. It's a, you know, relatively novel method which can have a positive and safe approach to extending the shelf life of our crops. So these are some of the research that are coming out from our food science and technology program. So what we have found, as you know, worldwide, we don't have many sources of pectin. And you know, we use pectin in jam, jellies, and preservatives, etc. But we are using pectin sources to make these edible films and coatings. And we have experimented. I know if you know this is what we call gooseberry. And here, this is guinnep or chenet. And it has never been done before, but we were able to extract and characterize pectin from these underutilized crops, and to be able to get pectin in a significant concentration, showing like antioxidant properties and things. And we are now in the process of developing these bioactive edible films. And we want to test it on different exotic crops that we have, which have relatively short shelf life, to enhance the post-harvest shelf life and to reduce post-harvest losses. So this is one example of the research that we're doing at the PhD level. Another example of the research that we're looking at is we're looking at green synthesized nanoparticles from fruit extracts of, I don't know if you know this fruit, it's called cerise, and this other one is called pomerac. And we are making nanoparticles, and we're incorporating them into peppers, capsicum species, to actually reduce the chemical dependency, you know, because we use a lot of pesticides to spray our crops, and we don't want to use pesticides. We want to use natural preservatives. So we are looking at the research on that, and it is very promising in terms of making these green synthesized nanoparticles for extending shelf life and for reducing chemical usage on our crops. These are some, you know, examples of our participation, and you know, we tend to go to conferences, but not only conferences. We actually promote what we do to the public, and we also partner with industry to share some of the research that we are doing, so that you know, industry is aware. We like to work with our MSMEs so that they are also aware in terms of what we can help them with. Before I end off, I wanted to say that, you know, agriculture and food production are important contributors to the wealth of a country. And despite the progress that we have made in the Caribbean with respect to food and agriculture and food security, there is still much to be done. And there exists a lot of entrepreneurial activity in the Caribbean for our MSMEs. And you know, there are opportunities. For example, you can, you know, have bulk processed products for institutions. You can do specialty products for the tourism sector. You can use minimally processed foods and tend to, you know, be less reliant on the imported and the processed ones. But we do recognize that MSMEs face a number of challenges, right? And they lack the technical capacity and knowledge to effectively formulate and package their produce. And it's because of, you know, they have limited size, there's limited quality, you know, information going out to them. Their market is just specific. There is need for more capacity building and training initiatives. And that's why I'm so happy that I am, you know, that you all invited me, and I'm here today to kind of share my thoughts on, you know, information on what we do as well in the Caribbean, in Trinidad and Tobago at the UWI. I realized that there's need for more pilot plants. So we heard about what is going on in Barbados, but we really need to have, you know, more pilot plants in the Caribbean where, you know, you can take it from the lab and scale it up. MSMEs tell us all the time, you know, they don't have access to reliable equipment in order for them to develop and for them to test their products. There's a lack of technical knowledge in food processing and preservation, food safety, hygienic practices, packaging options, even on things like understanding food regulations. And sorry about that. Are you able to see?
No, we're unable to see, but you can speak.
Okay. Yeah, so, okay, sorry about that, yes. Yeah, so it's really, you know, they do indicate that they need help. And I think this session is very important, where we can come together from industry, from government, from university, and we can really bring our heads together in the Caribbean and talk about really how we can improve the livelihood of the people of the Caribbean through more collaboration, more sharing of knowledge and information. Because today I learned about things that I didn't know before, that are taking place in the Caribbean. So with that, I just want to say thank you to the organizers for giving me this opportunity to share a little bit about what we do at the UWI. Thank you so much.
Professor Maharaj, I want to say a heartfelt thank you from our colleagues at COLEAD and IICA. I'm sure I'm saying this on behalf of Isolina and her team. That was a in-depth and really comprehensive presentation. I regret we don't have more time to hear a bit more. I'm blown away by the level of work that the department is doing. And I thought I was a fan of the University of the West Indies, and I knew everything about this program, but that research is mind-blowing. I wish you could tell us a bit more about that natural sweetener you're using, jaggery, because that's news to me. And that opportunity for us in the region to access your testing facilities, because a lot of times that's a major constraint to our processors. I don't know if you could just, for my own, I'm not a food technologist or anything like that, but that is new to me, that natural sweetener. Can you just tell me a bit more on that?
Well, jaggery is obtained when you, from the evaporation of water from the sugarcane juice. So that solid mass is what we term jaggery. And we have been able to source jaggery from sugarcane because we grow sugarcane in the Caribbean. And we have been able to incorporate and substitute jaggery at different concentrations in our formulation for dark chocolate. So we have made 70%, 60%, 50% dark chocolate formulations and compared it to what's on the market with the jaggery. And we even compared it to chocolate made with brown sugar and chocolate made with white sugar. And the results so far in terms of the sensory evaluation show very promising results in terms of consumers cannot really discern the difference between the jaggery made chocolate and the chocolate made from brown sugar and white sugar. We still have to do some tweaking because, we are in the research phase. We haven't really done any kind of pilot plan to scale up yet, but we are still trying to optimize our formulation in terms of other parameters like the viscosity, etc., to ensure that we have chocolate of the best quality. So, in Trinidad, we have the gene bank for our fino flavor cocoa. It's the best in the world. We always win all the prizes at the EU forums and the Salon du Chocolat in Europe because our chocolates are the best in the world. It's fino flavor chocolates. And not many people are aware that, we have this gene bank at the UWI. So it's very important that, we also do research. And I don't know if you all are aware, but we recently built a chocolate factory at the UWI in Trinidad. And we are on the way to making chocolates that will be exported to the world. So we are using our quality cocoa beans to manufacture chocolates that will be, I think they already started commercializing it. But the research that we are doing is to give other, alternatives to people who may be concerned about the sugar, the calorific value of the chocolates. For people who have, immunocompromised situations, we want diabetic people, we want to give them new offerings. So that's a little bit about what we're doing with the chocolate research.
Professor Maharaj, I want to thank you for that. And I'm glad that your contact information is still on the screen so persons can access it. I'm really charged up at the moment. And I want to switch gears, or rather not switch gears, but switch our geographic location from Trinidad and Tobago to go across to the Northwest, where we'll engage colleagues from Jamaica. And similar to what Professor Maharaj would have shared, we can now hear what is taking place or what can be offered to us from Jamaica. I'm speaking specifically about the work that the Scientific Research Council of Jamaica has been doing. And again, I'm somewhat familiar with what Jamaica has been doing, and Jamaica offers wonderful pilot facilities as well through Jamaica Business Development Corporation. And Jamaica has been leading the way in terms of a lot of the work in research and developing innovative products. So that said, let me introduce our next speaker from the Scientific Research Council. I hope I'm saying it correctly. I want to introduce Ms. Deneé Gilman, and she's a Senior Marketing Research Officer at the Marketing and Corporations Communications Division of the SRC, or the Scientific Research Council. The SRC is Jamaica's key and primary public sector agency with responsibility for the fostering and coordination of scientific research and the promotion and application of said results. The mission of the SRC is to serve the production sector, policymakers, and the general public to enable sustainable growth and development in Jamaica by firstly providing quality scientific and technological solutions in terms of product or process research and development, policy advice, and facilitating technology transfer, also in popularizing science and technology through strategic alliances, and finally being consumer or customer-centric, than an innovative, competent, and responsive team. So again, we are hearing support that is available to entrepreneurs, not only in the country, but across the region. So with that, I want to pass over to Ms. Gilman, who will deliver her presentation. Thank you very much for joining us, Ms. Gilman. Can you hear us, and are you able to speak?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you for having me. Good day, everyone. Let me just remove this bar here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to be presenting on opportunities in agroprocessing and just in general, the services offered by the Scientific Research Council here in Jamaica. So you got a brief introduction of what the council is. We are 2 years older than independent Jamaica. We have been established from June 1960. And again, we are responsible for the promotion and the application. The important note is the application of research in terms of our support to the agro-industrial sector. We're also tasked with popularizing science. We have a whole unit for that, our Science and Technology Education Unit, which is geared towards increasing interest in science and technology subjects, in improving students' performance in those areas, as well as teachers' ability to divulge said information in science, technology, and all the STEM areas. So we focus on research as well as the adaptation of this research and the creation of new technologies, provision of training, and providing of technical assistance and consultancy services. Now, we do offer support, which is why we're here, to micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. And these are some of the ways in which we do so. We offer product development services in food products, as well as some level of personal care products. We have our analytical services, which is our services, or rather our tests. We have several certified ISO tests, and we also provide assistance in process development and manufacturing. We're going to be looking at these individually. So our product development team, we offer this service to clients both locally and regionally to develop food products. We have done a range of products, a few of which are listed here, including sauces, liqueurs, cake mixes, jams, and seasonings. We ensure, or we assist people in utilizing our local crops or local herbs and spices and ingredients to create value-added products, and not only to create these products, but to have standardized formulations so that we can ensure scalability, as well as to ensure safety of the products, in that a part of the process involves chemical and microbiological testing to ensure that the process eliminates whatever bacteria it needs to, and to validate that process, that we can ensure that the replicating this process will ensure that there is no bacteria, there is no risk of public safety, risk to public safety, sorry. So we have that as a part of the development process. In addition to this, we offer nutrition facts panels for insertion onto the finished products. Whereas it's not yet mandated here, a lot of our clients will have nutrition facts panels done, because of course it will increase the marketability of the product, and will help to facilitate trade. And we do this via two methods. We can generate the facts panel via database, or if it is that we don't have the information in our database, we go through the process of analysis to generate the nutrition facts to insert on these products. And we are able also to generate panels in different languages or dual languages for insertion onto your products. As mentioned before, we also do some level of personal care product development. So we also utilize local herbs and essential oils to make soaps and creams, lotions, and body washes. And these are also something that we're going to be talking a little bit more about as we talk about the training opportunities that we also facilitate. So in addition to our product development services, we have a bank of food formulations that are available, already done formulations that people are able to purchase and just put to market or put into manufacturing. So this would include all the processes, the preparation of raw material, all that process flow and quality control checks that people who don't want to necessarily go into or go through the whole product development process, and they just want, for example, a pepper sauce. We have a pepper sauce formulation. If it is that they don't have any specific thing that they want to highlight and they just want a pepper sauce, we have that formulation and they can purchase and follow the document to ensure that they are producing quality products. So we also have a food pilot plant that assists our MSMEs to do a range of product manufacturing. And some of these include beverages, seasonings. We also facilitate people who bottle honey. And we have a dryer, a steam dryer, and a mill that facilitates the drying and milling of herbs and things like seaweed, all of these things that people are now interested in doing, as well as facilitating the packaging of products. So people might rent the space to just come in and package the products. Now the space we offer to rent to the MSMEs. However, we do have our technical staff that provides the oversight and assistance to utilize the machines and to actually do the manufacturing process in following the formulation document. So we have that support in place. Additionally, this section offers technical consultancy. So if it is that we have people who want to set up their own factory space, we have people who are able to assist with the development of factory layouts and process development. For example, if they want to just turn pumpkin into purees, we can develop a process for that so that they can follow to ensure that the product is consistent and of good quality. We also have, we also have training as a part of what is offered from the manufacturing aspect. And a part of this training includes good manufacturing practices, which is something that we highlight even without having a standalone training session. Throughout each of our training workshops, we have a component that focuses on good manufacturing practices, and that is highlighted and emphasized for potential entrepreneurs to pay attention to. Again, our process development division also provides the following services to facilitate trade. So people who are looking to export to the US, we assist with FDA filing. People who are doing low acidified foods, we do process scheduling. We also do schedule processing as another service that we offer, and our analytical testing in our ISO certified laboratory. So this testing is not only just to say that, okay, we have produced this product here and we have this test. It's also encouraged through the manufacturing process that you continuously check for your records, for your safety, for your batches, to ensure that you have traceability, to ensure that you test your batches and not just test the formulation at the initial stage, or you do a first batch and you test there and then you're fine. It is good practice to test along the lines of whenever you're doing your manufacturing, you ensure that you test at intervals to ensure that the process still holds and you are adhering to the quality control measures that were put in place. All right, as mentioned before, we do training in food processing or agro-processing through our process development as well as our product development teams. And some of these training workshops include processing meats, we have juice processing, jams, jellies, and sauce processing. So these are facilitated through our pilot plant division that will do training workshops here as well as training workshops in the region. So if it is that we get a request and we're able to facilitate based on the client's needs and schedules, then we are able to allow our team to go to whatever country requires our assistance and coordinate the workshops there. So it is not a service that is localized to Jamaica. We offer this service in the region and have done so before, so we can tap into whatever agricultural products or whatever raw material is a focus for that country or that region. Then we tailor the workshop to focus on that if that is what the client requests. So basically, that is a rundown of the services that we offer. We also have, in terms of the support we offer to the manufacturing or the agro-processing sector, we also have a biotechnology workshop that is conducted as well. So that focuses on tissue culture technology rather. So this is the replication of plants through plant tissue. And this is something that we focus on and highlight to people who are doing value-added products. So we are highlighting the fact that tissue cultured plants are able to ensure that you have the same quality or the characteristics of the raw material so that you can ensure continuity of your flavor profile and your raw material access through this method. So that is also a training workshop that we can facilitate or coordinate regionally. So that is it for the summary of the services that we have to offer to support MSMEs. I will take questions in the question and answer section, but that is it for me, and I will take any comments just now.
I wanna thank you for that, Ms. Gilman. I think that was pretty comprehensive, and I'm sure we will get a lot of dialogue going forward based on the questions that persons have submitted online. We want to encourage the various listeners who are participating online to share their comments or questions in the chat. And please remember, we will make the recording available to you via the usual route with COLEAD. Again, thank you for your presentation, Ms. Gilman. I think the Scientific Research Council is doing wonderful work. And I think this can be a benefit, not just to entrepreneurs in Jamaica, but as you said, throughout the region. So we want to encourage persons to engage you. Is it possible you could put back up your slide again with the contact information so that persons can take a quick look?
Sure.
Yes.
So you can also check our website. It's src.gov.jm. So src.gov.jm.
Okay, thank you for that, Ms. Gilman. Again, as Professor Maharaj said, I want to go back to that. In the region, we are all trying to change our current status of being food insecure to being more food secure. And while we talk about our gifts in terms of the level of primary production, sugar, rice, fruits, vegetables. We want to get more into value added. We want to get more into processing because that's what consumers want. If we are to address our food import bill, and as most persons may know in the Caribbean, we have, as heads of government, they have established a program called the 25 by 25 initiative, where there's a plan to reduce our reliance on imported foods by 25% by the year 2025. If we are to do that, we really need to ramp up our level of agro-processing. So I want to applaud the work that our various processors are doing, and also to the agencies that provide support for us achieving those targets. We all need to be working together if we are to become more food secure, and if we are to see more agro-processed products on the supermarket shelves and on the ships going to overseas markets. This is where our focus will be. So with that said, let me move quickly to our question and answer period. I want to start first with questions for Tricia, and then I'll go down the line. So Tricia, in French, someone asks, how do you manage your company's waste? And another question also related to, do you also import the fruits that go into your products? Tricia?
Can you repeat the first question, please?
How do you manage your company's waste, the waste products?
Okay, the company's waste, we are still trying to figure out what to do with the water that is left at the bottom of the fermentation. Like we said, the fiber, we use that and turn it into another product, as well as sometimes it's a bit much, so we give it to animal farmers they can add it to their animal food and add an extra nutrition to the animal feed. The other question was,
in terms of imports, do you import fruits, the inputs that go into your products?
All the fruits are sourced locally. Only thing that's sourced outward is the coconuts for now.
Oh, great. I want to go back to something Isolina said about the circular economy. So it's good that you're using the waste for animal food. And in terms of finding ways to deal with some of the waste, we're fortunate to again have SRC on, as well as the University of West Indies. So I'm hoping that they're taking notes that maybe you all can connect eventually to see how that could be supported on your end. So again, Tricia, let me thank you for that. We'll come back to you again for final comments. But let me go down to Nadine and some questions for Nadine. Nadine, firstly, what parameters do you use to ensure that your products have a long shelf life? I'll start with that, and then I'll go to the next question. Nadine?
Hi. Okay, in terms of parameters that we use to ensure the product has a long shelf life, we test the quality of the product over the period of the shelf life to make sure that the taste profile, the microbial, as well as the physical content of the product is maintained throughout that period.
Okay, thank you for that, Nadine. And can you tell me what percentage of cassava flour is used in the bread making process?
Normally it is 50%, but it all depends on the product. Because some, like for instance, the cassava pone, that is 100% cassava, well, sorry, 90% cassava. And of course, you just have the additional coconut and stuff in there, but it depends on the product type. We will vary the amount of cassava that we're actually using in the product.
Thank you for that, Nadine. And of course, when I come down to the support agencies, please feel free to contribute to what you're hearing here in terms of the questions or comments for the actual processors. So I want to go to Negus now. And Negus, I don't know if you have any of your products that you can raise up for us to see, but some questions that came to you. Do you allow tours for persons outside of Barbados, for instance, Trinidad, etc.?
We definitely would allow anyone to come on tour. We've carried people from all over the region on tours here already that were interested in the facility and some of the services that we offer. So yes, definitely we'd be interested in having our neighbors from Trinidad come over and tour the facility and see, what we have here essentially. And actually, they can tour. It'd be very interesting to tour while One of our clients or someone that uses the facility is here doing their production. So you could actually see the process happening in real time. It really is impressive, and we do urge any of our neighbors from the Caribbean or the wider diaspora to come down and have a look. I'm
Well,
sure it'll be well worth your while.
I can attest to that. I had a tour myself, and I recently facilitated a tour from persons out of Guyana to the facility. And in fact, next week, IICA will be hosting a face-to-face session at the International Food Science Center. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all again, Negus. Another question that comes to you, does the International Food Science Center have a freeze dryer available for entrepreneurs?
Well, at the current moment, we don't have a freeze dryer, but we are in the process of attaining one very shortly in the near future. So we have robo coops, we have commercial chillers, we have 4,400 gallon kettles. We have lots of equipment, but the freeze dryer is incoming.
Okay, wonderful. And does the center conduct HACCP water food safety certification processes in-house, or do you facilitate certification by identifying bodies that can assist? Or in other words, are you a certification body?
No, we're not a certification body per se at the moment. We do have plans also in the near future to become one so that people can come here and get certified. But currently we use external sources to acquire our certifications.
Thank you for that. This is something I want to ask a question that came up in the chat, and it's something that's always been on my mind, particularly with these pilot facilities, these incubation centers. And the question is, how would the formulation of a small processor be protected at the center? What is in place to ensure that the intellectual property of a processor comes in to have their product made? How is that safeguarded?
Well, we do have contractual agreements with our clients. We also have as any small processor's formulation or recipe could be protected through commitments of signing NDAs by staff that will work directly with those processors. NDAs are not 100% foolproof. Things can still happen. Things can still be leaked. This is possible. But we really try to hold a really high standard with regards to stuff like that. We make all the staff that would be working directly hands-on with the different products to sign these non-disclosure agreements. We also let the small processors and producers know that any part of the production process that they really want to be ultimately confidential to themselves or to people that are involved directly in their particular business model, they can do so without staff or anyone privy to said process or recipe. So if they want certain parts of the production process to be ultimately confidential, that is quite fine, and we understand. They could involve the staff that's based here at the Food Science Center for any of the other parts of the process which they may need help in streamlining or assistance with using the said machinery or equipment here.
Well, that is quite enlightening, particularly latter part that persons can come in and do their own thing and safeguard their intellectual property. And of course, with the non-disclosure agreements, etc., that's really heartwarming to hear that these different approaches are being pursued. So I want to ask, what is in place or are there thoughts about how you can prepare producers so that they can eventually do a good job upstream or graduate out of the facility?
Yes, well, we do try to connect as I said, connect some of the clients with different markets and different areas where they can streamline and send their product. As I said, we have all the certifications we're finalizing now, same FDA approvals, the ISO, we're finalizing those as well, and the HACCP, Hazard Analysis Critical Point certifications. So we're well on our way to at least have the framework here in place that the products will be identified globally and respected and certified, So then it's a matter of connecting the dots between suppliers and wholesalers worldwide that would have a demand for products from the Caribbean diaspora. And they, believe it or not, there are lots of people that do demand products from Barbados, Trinidad, you know, these parts of the region, and they just don't have the supply. So it's really about communicating, connecting with those people, helping to, you know, get these products out there on different emerging, established markets.
I know you said this before, but just to reiterate, persons from other countries can access the facilities, correct?
Definitely. Currently, well, recently I met with, I don't want to disclose the company's name, but I met with the owner from Guyana who was interested in expanding and streamlining product through our facility here in Barbados as a means of expansion of their operation. So, and I recently, up to yesterday, I carried him on a tour because he was visiting the island. So he saw the entire facility, saw the processes as they were happening, because it so happened that while he was here, a local pepper producer here that also uses the facility, a local pepper sauce producer, was having their products streamlined. So we were allowed to walk through while that was happening. And I mean, it really is something to behold. And I really do urge our neighbors in the Caribbean to, if they can, or if they're in Barbados, or if they want to get any more information, just reach out directly to us. And we'll be sure to pass on any other extra information you might want to know, or any of the requirements needed for having a product come through this facility.
We're grateful for that, Negus. Let me do the reverse. Are there plans to establish this facility from the Barbados government across the other territories, or is the government interested in supporting other territories in setting up similar facilities?
Well, that would be a very, very interesting initiative. I'm sure that the progressive-minded Barbadian government would not shy away from such. But you know, all these things comes down to costing. Sure, we would be willing to lend our expertise or our experience that we've had here setting up to our regional neighbors. That would be awesome, because facilities like these popping up all over, you know, some of the other small islands, St. Vincent, Grenada, St. Lucia, would really do wonders for Caribbean products. I think that would really, really expand the whole Caribbean production sector and really, you know, help the whole sector to thrive on a large scale.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point, because more recently we have been seeing collaboration between the various governments. There's supposed to be a food terminal established between Guyana and Barbados, and there are also plans to do a joint shipping initiative between Guyana, Trinidad, and Barbados. So there is that collaboration taking place. So maybe that's something, again, processors and persons on the chat, that we can make representation to our policymakers and say, this is something we'd like to see in our country. I know that in St. Lucia, there's two similar facilities that should be offering similar services. So it's really good that we're going to go down this path, and we should continue along this path. One last question, really. Sure. Do you all do non-timber forest products? Are they processed at the center? Is that something you all do or thinking about doing?
Non-timber forest products. Well, right now we really we don't do. When you say non-timber forest products, what specifically do you refer to?
Well, maybe what you can tell us is your focus. Your focus is only on sauces and condiments, beverages for now.
Our sauces, our focus, really is on condiment, large-scale condiment production, sauces, jellies, purees. You could do stuff like sorbets. We also have a second annex kitchen, which is catered for natural juices, natural wines, these sort of things. So yeah, more from a food perspective, food creation, more or less.
Thank you. And as we close off with you, Negus, is the plan for the center to be a processor, to remain a processor itself, or to eventually graduate solely to providing the services of packaging and manufacturing for smaller processors?
Well, the centers are all rounder. We want to do both of those things. We want to provide those services for the packaging, We want to also help people to standardize their products. That is really important, and to have a consistent product, so that these things are necessary for products to be accepted worldwide and globally. I really believe that all the different measures that we've put in place here would allow for something like that, and allow someone's product to be really standardized and to flourish from those stages. I have one product here. This is one of our products here. It's called the Landship Island Sea Moss. The Sea Moss Island Sauce by Landship. It's actually a pepper sauce that was locally designed and created. I don't know if you can see it clearly. It's infused with sea moss in the formulation. So the sea moss locally harvested here in Barbados waters. And we use the sea moss in the formulation to give the sauce a little bit of body. It also contains all the nutritional benefits associated with sea moss. So it's a really healthy sauce. It has a nice aesthetic. And it's true and true Barbadian. It's created here, designed here, and bottled, labeled, and vacuum sealed here. And it's ready for shipping. So we have products like this. We also are working with the in the sugar industry. So we have the contract to rebrand and repackage all the sugar under the same Landship line of products. And we have a very intelligent food chemist on board here. And she is actually tweaking our high quality Barbados Barbados sugar to have different variants, including baker's sugar. There's one that she's infusing with cinnamon to have a cinnamon sugar that's excellent with things like donuts, cakes, pastries, that sort of stuff. We also have the dark muscovado sugar, which includes increased levels of molasses. It's very dark, it's very rich. And we have this age-old, this sugar, but we making different variations of it. And we bring in new stuff to the market. So it's a really exciting process.
Negus, I want to thank you for the presentation and the questions that you've responded to. Just to close off, or before I go on to Rohanie, just want to encourage you all to consider the possibility of doing video walkthroughs. If persons contact you and they can't come to the facility, if you all would consider allowing them to do video walkthroughs. So I will encourage persons to contact you all directly to explore that option as well. Moving on quickly to Rohanie, there are two questions for you, Professor Maharaj. What specific benefits have been discovered from using jaggery as a sweetener instead of cane sugar? I think you sort of touched on some of that. And can these benefits be used in the context of health claims?
Well, just to clarify, we are still in the research stages of, so we really don't want to put any claims out there until we have done all the necessary testing and ensuring we do the proximate analysis, the nutritional component of it. So whilst the research and the literature that we have researched would have, indicated the health benefits, we still have to, we are still in the exploratory research phase where we are actually analyzing and testing these products for nutritional benefits or even other claims.
Thank you for that. And one last question. Someone wants to know, how can they enroll online to do virtual certification, I suppose, with the university and your program?
Well, currently we're moving to a hybrid mode where you can actually, register and have the program online. But the challenge that we face is we have a lot of practical component. The program is geared towards getting you out there in industry and making a difference in industry. And a lot of the practicals you can't do virtually. You have to be in the lab. You have to check your microbiology, work. You have to test the plates. You have to make media. You have to prepare this. You have to analyze. You have to test. And a lot of that, you can't really do it virtually. But what we plan to do is to, in the future, not immediate, but to have a course, a certification, where you can get a certification in food science and technology, where we will eliminate some of that practical element, but at a certificate level we can offer. So these are some of the things in making that we're thinking of, because there is demand in the region for qualification and for further education.
Thank you for that, Professor Maharaj. I'll come back to you with another question, but it will be for you and Ms. Gilman. So let me go to Ms. Gilman quickly. Ms. Gilman, can you tell me a bit again? I know you mentioned it, but can you tell us how your activities are financed? Is it by the state or is it from contributions from private sector and other professional associations or from the persons who use your facilities? Can you tell us a bit about that?
All right, so we are a government agency, but we're not fully funded for all the activities. So the product development services and manufacturing services are paid for by clients who engage us for those services.
Okay, fantastic. This is a question I want to ask to both you, Professor Maharaj, as well as Negus. Can you tell us a bit about, are there any accredited labs in the region for testing of products, a full testing of products? I know that there are different types of tests, but maybe you all can just share a bit on what are the accredited facilities, or if you all actually are accredited facilities to do testing. And that's for Negus, for Rohanie, and for you, Deneé.
Well, may I answer this one? In Trinidad,
Sure.
we do have accredited labs. I don't know if you all would have heard CARIRI, Caribbean Industrial Research Institute. They are the only, accredited labs that offer for food testing. So they offer a wide range of food testing, including labeling, and even startup for, from the lab to pilot scale to commercialization. So they offer a range of services, and their labs are accredited in case that you need to export products into a regulated market and you need to get that sign off. They can assist with it. There is only one other lab, which is Angostura, but that's more private. They don't really, I don't think they do commercialization and assist clients per se like that, but they do it for their own company. But that's an issue and a challenge that we face in the region, accreditation. Whilst we, our programs, for example, our programs at the UWI and in the Faculty of Engineering, we have to have them accredited to be able to, offer them globally. The same is not so with our labs. So there is a lot of opportunity to accredit our labs. And I feel there is need for more work in sensitizing people about lab accreditation, because it's a lot of work to accredit labs. You have to do all these proficiency testing and all of that. And the importance of doing that is that people can't sue you, So sometimes we would want to help, but we have to understand there are legal implications as well in trying to assist MSMEs or in putting out a claim there where our labs are not really officially accredited. So it's a very, very important issue. And the Bureau of Standards, I know they do assist in terms of bridging that gap, in terms of getting these labs accredited. They play a significant role in the outreach, the education, and sharing the knowledge in terms of how to move the labs for accreditation. But it's a lot of work, and it comes at a cost. So the accredited labs will offer their services at a higher cost, because of, they have to pay for a lot of these, validation and so of the lab equipment. You have to ensure that your lab equipment has been certified externally and all of these things as well. So it's a very interesting dynamic, but I do feel that if we want to play in the international market and if we want to get our products out there in regulated markets, we have to start to look at how do we accredit our labs, and we have to get the Bureau of Standards involved and our regulatory agencies involved in assisting to get these labs accredited.
Thanks for that, Professor Maharaj. I'll make a comment on that again, but let me pass to Ms. Gilman and then to Mr. Seeley. Any comments there?
Yes, the SRC is ISO certified. The whole council is ISO 9001 certified. Our lab is 17025. Our tests are certified for chemical and microbiological testing. So we have a range of tests that are certified that are done on food, water, wastewater, and cosmetics, mushroom, and cannabis.
Thank you for that, Ms. Gilman. Anything from you, Mr. Seeley?
Yes, we do. We do have the we can test stuff here at the facility. There's also the government analytical services here in Barbados. That stuff can be tested. And also at the University of the West Indies in Caveville, there's a laboratory there that you can carry stuff to be tested if you want, to find out what's the contents and different things surrounding the product. We also have the ability here to do the pH testing. As I said earlier, we do viscosity testing, and we do the NaCl analysis tests for anions and cations. So we do have the capacity here to do some testing. As I said earlier, also we plan to really go full steam ahead in improving and expanding our laboratory facilities to take on more load and to be a staunch facility in the island that people can come and have food, anything food related tested here with great efficiency.
Thanks for that, Mr. Seeley. I know that, as Professor Maharaj said, we want to ensure our labs in the countries can do testing, but accreditation is a different thing, cost money, etc. I know that through EU funding, IICA has been doing some work in building capacity of labs across the region. We have an EU SPS project, and we're grateful for the funding by the EU to do that. And it is hoped that, as Professor Maharaj said, to be a game changer, to go to the next level, we need more accredited labs. I want to close off at this point, and I want to quickly ask each presenter, quickly, 30 seconds, a quick elevator pitch, something that just closes us off in terms of your presentation. So let me start with Tricia. 30 seconds, just what do you want to tell us as closing remarks?
Hi, closing remarks. I just want to say thank you for the invitation, first and foremost. I have learned so much. Like, this is a whole network system here. And I'm thankful to IICA and COLEAD for putting this together. And I hope that we can collab together and do things in the Caribbean to help each other.
Thank you very much, Tricia. Good timing. Now on to Nadine.
Like Tricia said, this has been a big learning experience for me in terms of what the Caribbean offers. And I hope that definitely we can collaborate together as a Caribbean unit, but also in terms of having the portfolio here in terms of shared facilities, have that roll out in other Caribbean countries or them coming to Barbados as well. And then having more innovation and more innovative ideas instead of the same type of products. Let's diversify and see how we could use more of our Caribbean local products in more of our food products so that we can reduce the import bill.
Thanks, Nadine. A little over 30 seconds. So let's go to Negus. In 30 seconds, please, quickly.
Yes, so it was an honor and a pleasure both to be here and to get to share my experiences here at the Food Science Center with everyone here in the forum and all listening online. We really want to go from strength to strength and provide world-class facility here that locals and those in diaspora that can reach us here can streamline products to market. We have a facility we're very proud of that produces world-class products that we intend to export to emerging and established markets worldwide.
Thank you. On the dot, 30 seconds. Rohanie, 30 seconds, please.
Yes, I would just like to thank COLEAD and IICA for their leadership in bringing these entrepreneurs together. It is very important we create a database of all these entrepreneurs so that we know who is doing what and how support can be provided, because we want the Caribbean to be #1. So we need to know who are the players and we need to see how we can support them. So thank you so much, COLEAD, for your leadership, and thank you so much, IICA, for your leadership.
Thank you very much. The shortest one. That was great. Thank you, Rohanie. And I want to say it was a pleasure from my end. I want to thank the team at COLEAD and also the team at IICA for all the work that they put into making this possible. And we are always happy to work with the agencies. Want to invite you all, contact us. We're here on the ground in the various countries. COLEAD is here supporting. We want to work to make agriculture great in the region. And as Rohanie said, #1. So let me pass to my colleague Isolina to do closing remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all. Thank you, Allister. I don't think we need really closing remarks in such a very rich debate. I've been enjoying very, very much. I think the participants too, if you look at the chat and the Q&A, not only sharing information, asking more and more questions, wanting to connect, wanting to use the facilities, even I think our colleagues, our participants from Africa as well. I don't think you go beyond the region. So I'm very, very pleased. just to ensure you that everything will be shared in terms of resources, not only IICA and COLEAD, but also University of West Indies, all the resources we have around the table. Very much indeed, we are building our network of entrepreneurs as well, and this is public and we can share the links again. I want just to highlight 2-3 things that we made at the beginning, but still have been just stress. The SMEs and value chain actors need really to keep themselves acquiring constantly more knowledge, because it's a very, very competitive area, sector, on food storage, on preservation, on cooking, on packaging, on date labels, and of course, more and more also into the green area, so the loss and food waste and the bioproducts. The green technologies, the SMEs are already upfront on the water energy saving, on solar, wind energies, and so on. That is something that will stay with us because of the impact of climate change. Of course, the finance is also something we haven't talked too much, but IICA and COLEAD and others, of course, are linking as well. We are not financial organizations, but we work with finance institutes and funds, and we are happy to link SMEs as well, because equipment, a lot of things need at some point in the development of the business access to funds, and sometimes it's not very much, and it can be quite transformative. And then, of course, as mentioned today, I'm very pleased because we always advocate and we always tell the entrepreneurs, please link with the research, be in your country, be, regionally, etc. And the proof of it today is that research organizations in the country and in the region are excellent sources to support you on certification, on equipment, on laboratories. It's a lot of work behind, and sometimes it's not maximized at all. And of course, all the innovations going on packaging, branding, and transitioning to more sustainable forms. So I'm very, very happy. I thank you all very much. I hope you will join us to the next session. I think Axel has put already the dates. It's very much following of today, because it's the opportunities in local and regional markets. And we can see already today the opportunities really maximized, including cross-border trade. And I hope that, as Allister said, the logistical part in shipping, among others, will also follow and will be much better. So thank you very much to all of you. Some have been very pleased to see them again. Professor Maharaj from the Netherlands a few years ago to the Caribbean, extremely pleased. Thank you so much. I thank you, of course, Allister, Roxanne, and many other colleagues behind the scenes. I thanks from my side, Axel, Arthur, if you put your camera, those who are around, I don't know if they are all there. Yes, Roxanne is there. Axel, Arthur Uri, all these young people who do the work. And of course, the interpreters. And all of you, we will share all the resources possible, after the session. But you have an email to reach out if you need anything more from our side. So see you soon, because this is just the beginning, as you see. Keep well and keep safe. Allister, bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Everyone.